everybody gets to be part of this program. So how you guys doing? It's your boy Dave, and welcome. I'm trying to teach something very important, which is all the questions that the investors ask before and all their key answers, surprisingly simple key answers. And also, I want to show you the documents that you are supposed to send to them. So, of course, the first document in many cases is just an email that people send and say, "Hey, investor, I have a business, and then I guys give out money." All right, I have a sheet on my platform. We have already prepared the sheet where people can talk to investors. Now, YouTubers, if you can hear me, because I know that YouTube audio is always a bit messed up. So if you can hear me, let me know. If you can't hear me, then I have to install a microphone. So drop the comments, guys, on YouTube, because seems I will need an extra microphone for you guys. If you're watching from YouTube, and if my audio is clear enough, if it's not clear, hold on, my mic is getting on. Okay, got it. So YouTube guys, I still have to bring in the Telegram people before off, and it's just a second. Let me just get the link and get to Telegram. Hope you can hear me now. YouTube, if you can hear me, let me know. I think there's a better way to do this. Yeah, we got it. Okay, fine now. Okay. So if you can hear me, I'm waiting for your comments on YouTube just to be sure that we are good. Drop comments. I'm going to do a very explosive and expository video. It's going to be the best because this is something masterclass people pay $4,000 to enter and learn, you know, because it's a skill that will raise you money. So people pay a lot for it, but I'm going to do it free. Okay, completely free. So Telegram people, good. Finally, we're good to go. So the thing with YouTube is that you will not be able to see my my screen, okay? Because I have two laptops here where I'm streaming on different platforms, but you can hear me. And the good thing about YouTube is that you can ask questions. I will see the questions. So if you have any questions at all, let me know. All right, feel free to let me know if you have questions at all. Now, if you want to get my screen at the end of this video, within the next 30 minutes after this video, this course as a complete course will be available on my platform, so you can go to my platform and get it. Okay, so just know that you can ask questions as we go, and I see your questions. So this course will make you successful. That is my aim. I want to teach you something that if you turn around, apply it to your business, boom, the magic happens. Okay, if you can turn around and apply it to your business, it's going to bring a lot of magic and success. Okay, because some of you might be in countries where it is super easy to get investors, you know, or situations where getting investors is super easy. Samuel, I can see you. We're good. All right, I was just taking out the few moments to make sure that everything I have is working. Okay, so if you can get investors, if you're in a country or location where you can get investors easily, this course will mean millions of dollars for you in funding. Now, if you're in Nigeria or Africa at all, I've compiled over 500 contacts, of people that invest in businesses like this. Okay, over 500. So small businesses like yours that are still at the idea stage, these are people that have millions of dollars and they're looking for people like you to give money to. So it's on my platform. If you're watching this at a later time, I would have put the link in the comment section or pinned it. But if you're not watching it, if you're watching it live and you want to get it, it's on my platform, braintem.org. Okay. So I know you guys can't see my screen, but I can see it, and Facebook people can see my screen. And you know that I'm in a live course, so sometimes I might not be talking to you people. I might be talking to my future audience. Okay, so you should understand when I'm serious recording the course and when I'm referring to you people. But if I say anything that you need to ask questions about, feel free to drop it. Here we go. All right, guys, how are you doing? It's your boy Dave Partner. I have compiled the winning investor pitch deck, and this first part of this course would be about what you need to do before you reach out to the investor. There are 3 to 4 key things you need to do. All right, and then you can be sure that you are ready and your business is ready for you to send that investor the first message. All right, now if you're looking for a list of investors, I already have them, over 500 of them. I'll put the link below this video where you will see them. Okay, and then the second course in this series is what document you would send to the investor. Okay, now you're ready to meet the investor. There is a document, 2-3 documents you need to forward to them. I will show you step by step how to prepare this document. It's super easy. Even a layman on the street, the dumbest guy on the streets, can do that. Matter of fact, many dropouts have done that and got millions of dollars in funding. How does the whole process works? Don't worry. All your questions, I'm going to answer it here. All right. Then these investors, they are strategic questions they ask. All right. If any of them throws you off balance or you don't have the right answers to any of them, it becomes a problem because they will not give you money. Nobody who made their money will want to give it to somebody that is slightly confused about their business. So those 10-15 questions, I'm going to give it to you here, and they have surprisingly simple answers. They are kinds of answers you should never give. I'll mention them. They are a proper way to structure your answers. I'll mention them. They are super simple. All right, but you just need to know about them. In case you don't know, I've done over 70 to 100 courses and over 8,000 to 10,000 videos online. So this is something I'm really good at. All right, the first thing we're going to look at is what your pitch deck outline looks like. Your pitch deck is basically, in a layman's language, a PowerPoint presentation where you summarize your business, what it does, okay, how many staff you have, how much you've made so far, what inspired you to do the business, things like your business model. How are you making money in that business, or how do you plan to be making money in that business in future? All right, and then those things, how do you plan to exit? There's something called exit strategy, and you will learn a number of terms in this video. So these are the key slides that will be there. As you can see, I highlighted on this screen, you can see 13 slides. But going forward, you would see that there are different ways to do that. Depending on your business and your situation, you can structure it slightly differently. Then some investors will send you the format they want you to forward to them. Like the one I forwarded to my followers a few days ago is for ladies, and the investors are giving out $2,500 grant, free money, $2,500. That's about 1.5 million naira. No, 1.2 million naira or so. That the investors are giving to women-owned business in Nigeria. Okay, small business. But then they want you to structure your startup in a certain way. That PowerPoint you're going to send to them, that's how to apply. You forward them a PowerPoint. They want it to be structured in a certain way, so they sent out the format already. But what I have here is like a general format that works for every investor. Even that one that they sent That's what you're going to see in your next screen. This is what they sent. So your PowerPoint, when you're emailing an investor, this is what you attach to the email. All right. Once they scan through this, they perfectly understand your business, and they can tell you in the reply whether this is the kind of business they will invest in or not. If this is the kind of business they will invest in, they already have the answers they are looking for, and the next thing they would do is to invite you to an interview, physical presentation. That means you have got to the next stage. Now, before we go ahead, I want you to know that the aim, whenever you're reaching out to an investor, the aim of reaching out to that investor is to get them to agree to meet you again. All right. So the aim of the first meeting is to get a second meeting. The aim of the second meeting is to get a third meeting. Usually, by the time you've met 3 times, they have brought out money. By the third time or the fourth time, they have decided to fund your business. But if they stop at any stage, that means you're not getting the funding that you need. All right. So, all right. So, let's look at, this is a pitch deck. The first one is company and purpose. So, on your first page, you write what your company name is, put their logo, describe the purpose of the company. All right. And I'll show you practical samples of the ones that other companies have used. I will attach it below this video, so you'll see practical example that other companies actually used. Now, the second one is the problem. Okay, so you state the problem you're facing, or the problem your company is trying to solve. Okay, you state it. What pain does your customer face? What are the current solutions, and what are the shortcomings of the current solutions? Now, here's the thing. Whenever investors are reaching out to you, they are really interested in knowing what are your other companies doing? What are the other competitors, other companies in the industry trying to solve the same problem? Who are they, and what are they doing? Basically, they're trying to compare the success of the other company to yours. All right. We'll get into this in more detail. Now, what of solution? Explain your eureka moment. That is the moment that you got that idea. What were you facing? Where were you? And what were you doing at the moment that that idea just struck you, that, oh, we can actually build a solution that solves this problem? All right. So they want to hear that. And why is your value proposition unique and compelling? Okay, basically, the solution you are proposing, why do you think it's unique and compelling? Why do you think that you can actually influence the market with your solution? Now, one of the key questions is why now? Why hasn't your solution been built before? So if you think that your solution is amazing, why is it that out of the billions of people on earth that nobody has thought of that or built it? There must be a reason, okay? It's either that there is a strong barrier to entry. Barrier to entry means that there is something preventing other people from getting in there. Okay, it could be something discouraging them. It could be something too difficult that they can't overcome. So we're going to get into that, all right? Or it could be that you're a pure genius, which really happens, that you're such a genius that nobody thought of that. It really happens. Okay, so when you're reaching out to investors, do not consider yourself a genius. Because once you consider yourself a genius, they have ratings. If you consider yourself a genius, they start asking questions, okay? All right, so number 5 is market potential. Your 5th slide should show the size of the market. Identify your customer and your market. Some of the best companies invent their own markets. Now, that's the thing about startup companies. If you are trying to raise funding, the company that you're trying to get, the company or business that are trying to give you money, expect that your solution, in a way, might be creating a new market now or in future. Okay, or a subsection, capturing a subsection of the market. Okay, now just know that creating a new market entirely is expensive. So if your business is creating a new market entirely, some investors may not want to go in. Not that the business, but that they are skeptical because it could be too costly to create a new market entirely, come up with a certain new product that is not related to any other one, and then you start trying to convince people to buy it, it's costly. Okay, so but we're going to get into that and you'll see how to navigate around that. Like I said in the beginning, there's example slides that have already answered these questions. Okay, competition alternatives. Who are your direct and indirect competitors? Show that you have a plan to win. Okay, your direct competitors are companies that are selling the same products as you. Okay, you came up with a unique jerrycan for buying fuel for Nigerian generators or storing fuel for Nigerian generators. Fine, beautiful. Now, who are other people that are selling the same jerrycan for the same purpose? Maybe not your design, not your specific design, but they are also selling to the same customers. Those are your competitors. Indirect competitors, in a way, kind of means that these are people that are generally in the same industry but not selling the same product. Okay, let's say people that are selling jerry cans for water, they're not selling specific jerry cans for fuel or petrol, and you came up with an idea for petrol. Now, the ones selling jerry cans for water are indirect because they can wake up one day, tweak their product a little, boom, and they're in your market. Okay. So number 7 slide should show a business model. Okay, how do you intend to make money? How do you intend to thrive? Show them where your customer pays, how much percentage you get, this, that. How do you deliver the product? Something like that. They want to see that. Okay. Team. They want you to tell the story of how you met your colleagues, people that you're working with. Did you just go online, put up an advert, and hire them? Have you known this guy from childhood? Is this your wife or your husband that you're working? Is it your son, your relative? They want to know how you guys are connected, okay? Because when investors invest, mostly they don't even invest in the product, they invest in the team. They invest in the persons because they know that the product can always change. The team can always change the product if it's not doing well in the market. A strong team. But a weak team, no matter how powerful a product is, a weak team will always fail at marketing it. 9, financials. That's the if you have any financial projections, please include them. Expect you to do financial projection for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Okay. So now this financial projection, I'll give you an example of what it is, but this is the only technical part, and it's not in the first presentation. Okay. First presentation is where you just reach out to the investor, usually about 10 to 13 slides, showing what your business is about. If they are now interested, they will now request specifically for your financial projection. Now, just know that if you're talking to investors, they're going to fire you this question. Show us your projection for the next 1 year. Basically, how much do you think your business will be making in 1 year, in 2 years, in 5 years? There are ways to calculate that. Okay, you have to factor in tax, and so on. There is EBITDA and a lot of things you have to factor in. But if you're not good with finances, you can easily hire somebody off Fiverr, pay them $10 to $15, and they prepare it for you. But it's basically just a single page that shows, oh, where income is coming here, this is that, this is that, this is that. I'll give you an example resource in the comments where you just edit out things and put your own numbers. Okay. So the final is your vision. If it all goes well, what will you have built in 5 years? Investors want to know, is in 5 years that they will make their money. The traditional investor wants you to sell off that business in 5 years. And when you sell it off, they want you to sell it off at a point where their investment has grown 10 to 100 times over. That means at that time, everybody is rich. Both they that invested and you that they invested in, everybody is rich. If you own 40% of the company at the beginning, and that 40% is worth, let's say, 40 million naira, they want you at the end of the day, at the end of 5 years, that 40 million naira to have grown to 400 million naira, that's times 10, or 4 billion naira. So they want a lot of success in 5 years. So when you are reaching out to them, you want to tell them what you expect to have achieved in 5 years. All right, if they give you that money you're asking for. So I'll give you examples, all right? So thank you guys. See you in the next video where we get into what you have to do to prepare fully for this meeting, all right? YouTube guys, how far? Facebook guys, Drop comments. Drop comments. Let's see how it is going on Facebook. Okay. Mwadike Berechuku, I see your comments. Nice one. So if you have questions, feel free to ask, and make sure you ask, because this is an expensive course that many people pay a lot to get. All right. So you're getting it free because you're watching live. Once the live is over, this video is off. I've deleted it. It will be on my platform where people have to pay to gain access. Okay, so let me answer the question. Okay, I think I should answer it live inside the course. Audu. Is it Audu? Asalo? Asalo, I can see your question, okay? So let me go live with the course and answer it. So hold on a second. Eberechuku on Facebook, how are you doing? How are you doing? So, okay. Please drop questions on YouTube. Feel free to drop questions on YouTube. We go. So we're going live again. This time around, we'll answer Salo's question so that students will see that. Hello guys, how are you doing? Welcome to your second video in this course where we discuss investor pitch deck. Now, what's happening is that in the past video, we saw two types of pitch decks. The way you are going to structure your PowerPoint, we saw two types. Here is the first one, and here is the second one. So you choose which format. And like I said in the last video, sometimes the investor is the one that will send you the format. Okay, they will just email you or they'll put it on their platform, you download it, and then you structure your design to be like that. So here are some suggestions, all right? Like I said, this is what you're going to do before you reach out to the investor. So here are some suggestions on how to prepare this PowerPoint slide. The first thing is that your slide should be between 10 to 30 slides. Anything less than 10 slides is too small. It's kind of too small. It's not bad, okay, but it's too small. Like, you don't want to leave the investors asking more questions like, okay, what, you know? So then 30 slides is fairly okay, but you're already pushing it. So I advise you have like 2 to 3 slides. The first one is 10, that summarizes everything. 10 slides, that's the first contact you are sending to the investor in the email, you know. And then when they pick interest and they reply, they usually ask for more details, and that's what you have in your 20 slides. So the slide that have 20 has the first 10 plus extra details in between. Usually those details will be what the investor asks for. And then when they meet you physically and after some meetings, that's when you send them the 30 slide long where they have all the tiny little details. Okay, before they finally hand you over the money, their business team will connect with you and they'll be like, okay, what is that. Okay. So like I said, there are samples for all this. Now, also, the length of the slide depends on the time they gave you for presentation. Sometimes investors will hold like a seminar where there are about 10, 15, even 100 people asking for money. How many of you have watched Shark Tank? Okay, or Dragons Den and so on. What you notice is that the time that you are given to present your idea will determine how many PowerPoint slides you're going to have. Now, you should also know that some investors don't care about PowerPoint, like the Shark Tank and the Dragon. They don't use PowerPoint. You have to tell them directly. But what you're telling them is what is in this course, in this PowerPoint. All right, that's what you're verbally telling them. So if they give you 2 minutes to present, all right, That means they have a lot of people presenting that day. That means your slide should be 5 slides, because before you flip through 5 slides, 2 minutes is gone. Okay, I'll give you what will be in those 5 slides. Then if they give you 5 minutes, you prepare 10 slides. If they give you 10 minutes, you prepare 15 slides. But if they give you 15 to 20 minutes each to present, that means they are prepared to ask you questions. They are really serious. They are prepared to ask you questions. So you prepare about 20 to 30 slides, 25 to 30 slides. That's why that 20 minutes. If you prepare too little slides, what's going to happen is that they will you will finish too quickly, and then there'll be a lot of space. They will use questions and destroy you. You get what I'm saying? So you want to, if they gave you 30 minutes, you want to finish somewhere around 28 minutes, so that they will have 2 minutes to ask you questions. Now the next thing is, only 1 to 5 bullets per slide. Don't copy full notebook. Don't write full article in each slide. It's called a PowerPoint for a reason. So basically, the title of the slide, then 1, 2, 3 points. If you have more than 5 points, 5 bullet points, you are pushing it. Okay. So highest you have is 5 bullet points. This is that, that is that, that is that, that is that. Period. Okay. Now have only 1 to 5 bullet. Okay. Use big images. So sometimes in a slide, you want to show an image of the product or something. Don't show something that is tiny that they will start squeezing their eyes to see. If you're going to have an image in a slide, I'll tell you the slides that should have images, right, as we go ahead. But if you're going to have an image in a slide, make sure that the image is big. A title that explains what the image is about, then you have the image. If there's any particular point of interest in that image, you circle it, okay, with like red color or something. There are tools for doing it on phone and on system. Just draw a circle around it, so that once the image shows, investors know what to look out for while you're talking to them to present. You also need to know that many times that investors are going through your slide, you're not there to explain. Okay, so don't put in things that will be difficult for them to understand when you're not there to explain it. Okay, so put very simple self-explanatory items. Now another one is, don't use exaggerations. Don't show both. Don't brag or sound arrogant. Okay, instead show a good presentation. If your presentation is good, it's already enough boasting for you. All right. If you sound arrogant, nobody wants to work with an arrogant person. If you sound that I'm the smartest person in the world and I came up with this so smart, unique idea, and then I just need your money. If you don't want to give me money, then you can go. If you pass that kind of message, nobody wants to give you money. All right, you're going to lose the money they want to invest and their expertise. Remember, in the other course, I thought about something called smart money. That is people that are investing in you financially, but also they have connections in the industry. They have domain knowledge that they can also invest in the business. This is something you can't measure, how much knowledge they pass to you. So if I was building something about space mission, for instance, and then Elon Musk decides to come and invest in me, he's not just bringing money, he's bringing what? Smart money, which means this guy has a lot of domain knowledge in the whole space industry. So me collecting his money is a blessing, because he's going to also bring his knowledge in. All right, his connection with the industry, his connection with SpaceX, his connection with NASA, the US government, all these things are coming in if he can invest in my small product that has to do with space missions. So sometimes, even though they are harsh, or maybe their investment conditions are not perfect for you, maybe there's another better offer somewhere. You also look at the smart money. They might be bringing huge smart money to you. Okay, so just even when you're presenting, all right, just don't show both. There are some presentations that you don't need to dress in suit. You show up and you're all suited up, they feel bad about you, depending on the context. In some contexts, you just need to dress smart casual. That's how most billionaires dress, smart casual, and then everybody's good. Or you just put on a coat. So just know the environment before you go. The next thing you need to check is, make sure your slide is self-explanatory. I just explained that. Must be self-explanatory. So after preparing your slide, forward it to a friend and tell the friend, let me know what you think. Any question they ask, redesign the slide to already answer that question. Any question they ask, find it. Okay. All right. Um, some people may email it to friends, like I said. Okay. Now, don't just read your slide to the audience. Give a brief explanation of each item. If it's about reading it, your audience can read it. Probably if you're pitching to at an event or a number of investors, sometimes if you're pitching to a VC firm is a company whose way of making money is to invest in other companies. So if you're pitching to such a VC firm, you will not be talking to one person. You're talking to about 5 to 10, 15 different experts that have been investing for years. You know the way Shark Tank is. Okay. So it's not when you have your presentation on the screen, you're just reading it. You make sure that you're communicating with them. Each slide, make sure you give in extra few information that explains better what is on the slide. Okay. Make sure you proofread your slide. Then ask some friends to help you proofread it. You get what I'm saying? When you're proofreading it, you're making sure that there are no typographic errors. If you can present your slide and put typographic errors there are some spelling mistakes, instantly the investors don't want to put their money there. If this person can't even prepare a 15-point slide, they're going to make a business blunder when we give them our millions. All right? So, no calculation errors, no inconsistencies. Sometimes you're trying to calculate that this year we're going to make 40% extra growth, and then that 40% extra growth does not tally with the money that you are expecting as growth. Maybe the money you are expecting is actually representing 20% extra growth, and your slide is saying 40%. Don't do that. Make sure your calculations are perfect. That's why you need to send to a friend. Rehearse your presentation in front of a few people. If you are the type of person that usually get tensed up, if you get tensed up when speaking to people, make sure that you have rehearsed. That tension can cost you millions, okay? Make sure you're confident, very confident, and you're well rehearsed before you speak to your actual investors. Be consistent with your fonts. Don't use 12 pixels here, and then in the next slide you use 50 pixels, then in the next slide you use 13 pixels. No, just have a title that is a certain amount of pixels. Okay, so let's say your title might be the actual suggestion I have here is the font type you should use is Calibri or Arial. Calibri or Arial, because these two are very easy to read. Anybody can read Calibri or Arial. Don't use Times New Roman because of some of the curvy text there. Okay, don't try to over design. Simple, clean slide. Okay, and your font size should be 20 pixels or larger. 20 pixels or larger. So basically, what the advice here is you calculate the average age of the audience, the people in your audience, their average age, then divide it by 2. That should be your font size, because people's eyes get worse as they grow older. So if the average age of people in your audience is 10 years, okay, your font size can be 10 pixels. That eyes are still working well. But let's say you're talking to investors that are around 40 years on the average. That means some people are above 40, some people are below. But on the average, you said you can guess that their average age is 40. That means your font size should be 20 pixels each. Okay. Add page numbers in your slides. Because when you're presenting your slides, most investors don't want to talk to you. They just keep quiet for you to complete your slide presentation, and then they'll start asking you questions based on specific slides. Now, if you have page numbers, they will just scribble down the page number so that when it's time to ask you a question, they can tell you, can you go back to page X? All right. And then they'll ask you more specific questions there. Okay. Now, before I round up this, I have one more point here. I said use dark background with white fonts. They are better with projectors. Sometimes the projector, the room is well lighted. So if you're using a white background like my slide now, it's going to be difficult for people in the audience to see. So what you are advised to do is use a dark background with white fonts. Okay, any dark background with white, it's easy to see under any projector. Now, here are some questions. We'll have one question here or two from Mr. Samuel. Samuel says, I'm a gold miner. I need investors. I'm a Ghanaian Nigerian. I'm in Osun State, Ilesha, and I have done lots of prospecting showing that there is gold in the ground, but I need investors and equipment. Now, the answers there is that just go get my sheet where the spreadsheet where I have over 500 contacts of investors. Some of these, the first sheet has Nigerian investors, people that have put money in Nigeria. The second sheet has global investors that are putting money in Nigerian and African businesses. And it also has examples of businesses they have put in money. It has examples of the industries. So if you get that sheet, you look for where the mining industry is. You see the investors under mining industry, and then you reach out to them. Okay, their contacts are there. All right. So the last question I'm taking here from Vincent. Vincent said, "This course is it for business people alone?" Now it depends on what you mean by business. If you're getting investors for your company, isn't that your company is a business? Okay, there is no specific business thing there. This is for people who have a product or an idea that want to be given a lot of money to be able to push that idea globally. Okay. So see you in the next slide. Feel free to drop more questions, those of you that are watching live, so that I can answer them. You two people, how far? Keep dropping questions, okay? And Samuel, I hope I answered your question. And Vincent, I hope I answered your question. So, Vincent, to drive deeper into what you are saying, there are so many kinds of businesses and business ideas. There's hardly anybody on earth that doesn't have a business idea. The only thing is that that idea may not be refined, or that they're not willing to pursue that idea. But the moment you're willing to pursue that idea, this course is for you. Package this presentation and slides, reach out to the investors, and get invited. You know, you guys agree on a date, you just show up there, and then they ask you questions which you have already rehearsed from this course. You answer them, and then luckily, they might give you millions. Then you quit your job. You get, if you are working a day job, if somebody gives you 100 million naira, won't you quit? You know? And in the other course, I thought that after collecting the 100 million naira, you can still collect another 500 million naira in 6 months. There's a company in Nigeria today. Can I remember the name? They collected 5 million naira in May. In July, $5 million in May. In July, they collected $. So it's now $55 million in 1 year. Who knows whether they still have another one on the pipeline to collect? You get? So I'm getting ready to record the next, the very next one. Drop questions. Hello guys, how are you doing? It's your boy Dave. Welcome to this third video, where we talk about investor, what you have to do to prepare to meet investors. Okay, so let us look at this third video. Now, before the pitch, it says, get someone to introduce you to an angel investor, okay, or VC. Cold calling or cold emailing them usually don't work due to the many such emails they get. Now, if it's a VC, VCs get a whole lot of emails, a whole lot. So if it doesn't mean that the one that you're going to send will be lost, you should keep sending, all right? So, but sometimes it's better to reach out to key decision makers or get someone to introduce you. So if you know somebody that knows somebody, you could get them to introduce you. Another thing to do, like people do, is they find the people that are supposed to invest, send them an email or whatever. If they don't respond, they go to they go and ask their friends, who can introduce me to this person? Like I once had my friend who said, who can introduce me to Dangote? You understand? A friend believed he had a product for Dangote. And probably he has emailed Dangote, no response, done everything, no response. What did he ask? He asked, who can introduce me? And he asked it on a Facebook group. And if I can remember clearly, somebody chatted him up, said, okay, let's chat inbox. All right. So sometimes if you reach out to these investors and no reply, there are other things you could do, like get someone to introduce you. Another thing is, if you get somebody in a good position, you can ask them, we're looking for investment for our companies. Do you know anybody you can introduce us to? You know, it's different from asking them for money, which many people mistakenly do. You see somebody, you say, hey, please, my grandchild is dying and my great grandmother fell and broke her leg. Please give me 5 million naira to fund my business. Most people will never talk to you again after that. But if you tell them that we're looking for 5 million for our business, all right, and then we are prepared to give out some equity, do you know anybody that you can introduce us to? So do not hold back at asking people to introduce you, especially when you attend some of those high value events. Even in weddings, you find the right high value person. Okay, you can tell them, or you can just prepare a small write up, put your phone number in a sheet of paper and forward it to them, even if they have security. Hey, we have a startup in so and so field, and we're looking for 5 million naira for 10% equity. This is my number. Help introduce us to someone who can do this. Period. Just 3-4 lines. You give it out to them. They said over 87% of investments come from introductions, especially in Silicon Valley. Most of those big companies that have money, they don't just want to invest in random companies. It happens sometimes, but they prefer when it comes through somebody that knows somebody that knows them. All right. Now, know your investors. That's the second point. Know your investors and know your investors and their investment criteria before sending it to them. Make sure your startup matches the kind of startups they invest in. Okay. Now, there are 3 major categories of startups that investors fall into. Some investors will only invest in startups that are at the seed stage. Okay. Seed stage, it's also kind of called, there is seed stage though, there's early stage or post seed. That means they have raised their first capital. There's growth stage. That means they have raised some capital and they are growing. Maybe they have not made profit. They are profit stage investors. You have made profit. There are some companies that are making profit, but the profit is too small. Okay, it's very marginal that they are not able to expand the way they want. So even though they are profitable, they still need extra investment. All right. So there are investors that only invest in such. Like if you are in my Telegram group, I posted one the other day. At least 2 people reached out to me. These investors have $10 million and they are looking for people that have made some sort of profit that they will support with the $10 million. They are foreign investors. Okay, they're looking for Nigerian companies and they have 10 million. So they're not looking for seed stage. What is seed stage? Seed stage is any company that has received their first investment. Okay, even if it's just 1 million naira investment, you are in seed stage. Some people will just go and convince their uncle to give them 1 million so that they can just enter seed stage. Now there are idea stage. Idea stage means that you don't have anything on ground. All right. Idea stage means you don't have anything on ground at all, but you have the idea all well figured out. You present them in your PowerPoint, and there are companies that invest on idea stage. Okay. Now there are prototype stage. Prototype stage is when you have already built your prototype. Let's say you want to build a certain let's say steering wheel for cars. You have an idea to build a better steering wheel for cars, and you have designed this. That's idea stage when it's on paper. But if you actually contact a Chinese manufacturer and this Chinese company is able to take that your design and put it into reality and send you copies, let's say send you 5 copies of your design, you have entered prototype stage. Now, if you are looking for investors, you look for the investors that say we are investing in prototype stage. Okay, if you get investment, so the thing with the journey is that the more you progress on your own, the more likely that you will get investment, and the more companies invest in you, the more likely that other companies will invest in you. Okay. Now, there's another type of businesses that you can categorize investors into. That is size and capital. Some investors will say that we can only invest in companies that are $1 million and less. Like I was watching Shark Tank the other day, one person brought out a very wonderful idea. But most of the Shark Tank investors declined to invest until I found out that he was asking for more than the size of capital that they want to invest in. He was asking for $2 million, and these Shark Tank investors typically invest $50,000, $100,000, $250,000 to companies. You understand? That's what they typically do. So for somebody to come and demand $2 million is just beyond them. That's like at the rate of $100,000. That's about a whole lot of companies that they would have invested in. So they decline because of size of capital. So sometimes when you're reaching out to investors, you do a little research on their website, because they will usually state it that we are investing in companies that fall into this category. Make sure that yours falls into that category. Now, this doesn't mean that sometimes you can't break that norm. You can tell them, hey, I know that you invest in mining startups, like Samuel just said on the chat, but I know that you invest in software solutions, but I have a mining startup and I'm pretty convinced it's going to also make sense for this your other business. I've seen the businesses you invested in, and there is this particular one that I feel that can work together. All right, look through my PowerPoint, and if you can't invest, can you put in a word for me to another investor? You might be surprised most investors know themselves. So don't just be limited by the category they stated. You can break the norm. All right, but if they're not responding to you, you should know why. It's probably because they're not interested in that kind of business. Now, there are required metrics. Some investors can only invest if you have met some required numbers. Some will tell you that they need you to have made 100,000 naira or $100,000 in revenue. Okay, so this would give an example with steering wheel, or maybe a unique tailoring machine. You know, tailoring machine cost a lot. What if you came up with an idea of a design that built cheaper tailoring machine, cheaper and more efficient, or whatever? Okay, so with that, you can actually some investors will say that we don't care what you have designed or how amazing it is. We want to make sure that it's already selling in the market, and you have made at least 50 million naira selling it. Not profit though, just sales, before we can invest. So some will say 100, some will say 5 million naira, some will say that it has, let it be that you have made some sales at all. So those are the things, the kind of things you check out for in investors before reaching out to them, and it's usually stated on their website. If you get that my sheet that has over 500 contacts, you will see their links to their websites. Okay. Now, finally, I've talked about dressing. Most times you're going to pitch and ask for millions. You don't dress like one Alhaji like that. You know, even native wear, you should be careful putting on native wear, because something you think that looks really nice under Nigerian culture might look awkward to a European man or a US or a Japanese investor. There's a South African company that got investment from, is it Toyota or so? So you need to be careful with what you dress like. Smart casual is good, smart casual is fine. If you're going to push that, you can put a coat or jacket or suit on top of it. If you wear complete suit, it's fine, but you're pushing it already. Just know that most of those rich people, they are not into suits. But if you are pitching to someone like Dangote, Dangote wears suits now and then, so it might be okay for you to attempt that. But generally, you can't go wrong with smart casual. Never. Okay. So, but it doesn't mean that you can't dress according to the product you are trying to convince them to buy. So, if I was selling a fashion item, I can dress in that fashion item so that they see it. Okay. I saw the other day was selling wig, a specific patent design for wig skull cap. Okay, she had a specific design, and then you just put your wig on it. So she was selling it, and she was able to she put it on. Okay, so if you are selling something about tailoring, for instance, the tailor design, yeah, you can wear native, very well designed native, so that they will see an example of what was done with that product. Okay, so there are no hard and fast rules with dressing. Just make sure that you dress according to the occasion. Okay, so see you in the next video, guys. Samuel, are you still there? I answered your question. I don't know whether you clicked out, but I answered your question. I said that you can get the list of investors from my website. There's a list of 500 contacts of investors for Nigeria and Africa. There's no way you apply to at least 50 of them, that 1 or 2 or 3 will not reach out to you and be serious, ready to invest. So when you get the sheet, you look for the ones that are into mining industry, because I categorize it according to industries. Some are into fintech, some are into banking industry, some are into medical, some are into activism. If you are starting something that is going to challenge government or challenge the norms of the society, or spur gender debates, they're into that. So in your own case now, you are very sure of the whole mining thing. You go to investors that are into mining industry and reach out to them. Okay. Yes, Vincent said, I have an idea that can make any investor that invests in the idea to make millions of naira. Yes, that's what investors are looking for. Investment is a business for them. So if you are coming to them, they need that kind of idea. That's what they're looking for. Just make sure that you've done your background work according to this course I'm teaching. Pick one of the slide samples and structure your idea, edit it and put your ideas in there. And then get my list of contacts of investors and start emailing them. You get. So I'm going for the next video in this series. The next video. Okay. Hello guys, how are you doing? In this video, we're going to talk about what do you send to investors? What is the actual content? I said it in the beginning, 10 to 15 slides is okay. First time you're inboxing them, introduce yourself, put your contacts. Okay, in the very opening slide, your contact has to be there. In the very last slide, very last slide, put your contact. By that I mean phone number with country code, because your investors might might forward your slides to other foreign investors who might want to reach out to you. And if you use a number without country code, they might find it hard to reach out to you. Let's say your number starts with 080, like in Nigeria, they may not know the country code. So when you're putting your number in such a situation, you put +234 080, something like that. So also put your handles, your Twitter handle. If you know that you're tweeting rubbish in your Twitter, that can handle millions of dollars investment, create another Twitter handle, okay, where you just tweet about just your business, okay, and then include it. Apart from that, you can include your email address. If you don't want your social media handles, just put your email address. Okay. So sometimes when you're presenting on stage, that last screen, people will screenshot it immediately to get your email address. And while you're standing on stage, they're already chatting you up. Like my friend showed me yesterday, somebody was offering him $60,000. He said, $60,000, we're going to do the whole marketing for you worth $60,000. But every product you sell will take 20% of the profit. Because they saw his product and they felt that it's nice. Okay. And they said, just reply to this email. We handle the whole marketing for you. We are professional marketers. On one condition, every time there is a sale, we take 20% of the profit. Isn't that amazing? So in the second meeting, you expected to come up with like 30-page slides. Okay. Third meeting, you are sending everything. In the third time you're meeting the investors, you send everything containing all possible information. Okay, but before that, you want to send a non-disclosure agreement. This is the time you tell them non-disclosure. So your actual serious business secrets is on the third meeting. Okay, a non-disclosure agreement means that we're sending you this, do not send it out to others. Okay, we're sending you this, but do not send it out to other people. So sometimes it's your specific design for your product that makes it unique that other people don't know. You understand? Or specific, ingredients that you use to make that meat pie. That makes people love it. If it gets to a point that they are requesting for it, they have to sign that they're not going to give it out to other people. So you send them an NDA. So I'm going to attach a sample NDA agreement. It's just a sheet that they have to sign and send back, email back to you before you now send them that information. Okay. So at this stage, if they're asking for that, that means they are now very ready to give you money. So it's very okay to give out in some instances. Also, you may need to be talking with a lawyer at this stage. That means you're expecting money soon. If somebody gets to a third meeting with you in terms of investment, your money is almost ready, okay? So in the next video, we're going to look at general advice that you have to take, okay? So I think we should go ahead. The first one is don't use big words or industry-specific acronyms. Like when you're pitching a medical device and you tell the person that this is Staphylococcus agripanus, it affects the thorax of the major intestinal disorder. You get what I'm saying? You need to understand that sometimes your investors are not even in your industry. If you are dealing with a software product and you're talking about this is Kubernetes, and when the Docker is connected to it, the server responds message or 501 error, and the error is just not 200. These are codes of programmer. Every programmer understands this, but the investor you're talking with may not be a programmer. Yes, he might be invested in tech startup, but you're not a programmer. So the moment you start doing that, it looks like your startup is just some complex stuff. So break it down. Assume that the person that you're talking to is dumb. So explain things without too much words. Okay. Replace those industry-specific acronyms, with like 404 is page not found. Okay, you can just tell the person that the page will throw up an error saying that the page is not found. You don't need to tell the person it's 404. The result is 404, something like that. You don't do that. Okay. Now, number 2 point is avoid controversial topics or examples. For instance, topics that have to do with religion, politics. You might think that everybody in your hood hates this particular politician, but you don't know the pedigree that politician has with that investor. The politician may not be there, but he might be related to the investor. The politician may not be there, but he might have invested in the investor's business. You don't know whether the investor has loaned them money. So avoid political topics, religious topics, and sometimes topics on gender. Okay, these days in some Western countries, gender is a very big problem, where they're not sure. People can be anything other than male and female. People can be queer. People can be all sorts of things. Okay, so you want to generally avoid such topic that people will have different opinions. Okay, so if you're giving an example of how your product is being used, give an example that everybody can relate to and agree with. Once somebody disagrees with your example, they're not going to invest in the business. It's human psychology. Okay. Now you want to appear likable, throw smiles. Don't over smile, but throw smiles. It works like magic. When you smile to a human being, they smile back. It works, and it eases them off. Okay. And be professional. Okay. When they ask you questions, you don't know the answer. Tell them you don't know the answer. Don't try to connect to people on a personal level when you're presenting. Okay. Be humble. Don't wink at the investors. Don't wink at them, okay? Because it could mean something else, especially if your genders are different. Okay. Be humble. Don't be boastful. Now, here's the thing: be coachable and not arrogant. You might be right on something, and the investor might be wrong, and they're attacking you. You don't have to respond. Okay. Once you're stated, if they ask you a question and you've stated that our product does this, and then the investor comes, no, why should they be doing this, that? You don't argue with the investor. Once you have answered the question, don't repeat your answer again. Okay, because the moment you're trying to repeat your answer, it's like you're trying to put it to the investor that this, that. All the other investors will back out because they start seeing you as some arrogant fellow. Okay, if you have watched Dragon's Den, Shark Tank, you see that people have lost investments because of that. Where they might be right. They are trying to correct the investor on an impression they have about boom. The investor is out and the rest of the investors are out again. Okay, so if you are right, stay right, but don't over push the boundaries. Okay, even if they are wrong, it's not your fault again. Okay, you can still pitch to other investors. Okay, during a pitch, sometimes 2-3 people in a team goes there, CEO with their friends, and let's say the rest of the team, maybe CEO, the technical guy. Let's say you started a company with 2, 3, 4 guys. All right. When you're pitching, 2, 3 of you might be on stage, but make sure that the CEO is the one speaking, unless he's impaired in some way. Okay. If he's not there, it raises question because investors want to deal with the key decision maker. They don't want the second in command to agree to something with them, only to go back and the CEO will cancel it. You get? So if there's any pitch and you are the CEO or you have a CEO, make sure that he is there and is the one speaking. All right. The rest of the team will just stand by. Now, if they ask a question to your team, only the CEO should answer, unless the CEO volunteers that a team member should answer. Sometimes the questions that the investors are asking is just to test the knowledge of the CEO, or, with respect to the product. If you don't know your product well and you don't know your market well, that you have no business getting investment. Okay, if they're asking you how many, what's the size of the gold market, and you are into mining, you should know. If you don't know, that means you've not done enough Googling, you've not done your research. Okay, who are your competitors? Who are other people doing gold mining? You should know as a CEO. If they ask question and 2 people in the team start answering the same time, there's a problem. That means the team is not coordinated. So sometimes investors want to test the coordination of the team and cohesion. So when they ask a question, only CEO and the leader, the team lead, should start answering. Except the team lead says, okay, I'll allow this person to answer that question. Then you can answer. Okay. And don't argue in front of your investors. Never argue. All right. If you guys are doing anything, an investor gives an offer and the CEO decides to go for it, the fact that he's a CEO should make you allow them to go. Okay. If you want to discuss anything with them, you can touch them and tell them that you want to take 15 seconds to have a discussion with the CEO. You tell the CEO, can we talk? You guys turn around and have a little discussion on that. Then you turn around again before you face the investors. You understand? But do not argue. Don't disagree. And once you disagree, nobody's going to give you money with that because they feel that this team is going to break up. And if they break up, they won't be able to push this product to success. So maintain cohesion. You people should be thinking in one mind. Don't struggle for who to present. I've seen presentations where the people are dragging who to present because they want to look smart on camera, because their cameras and the whole thing is being broadcasted live. They want to be the one to, because of that struggle, investor kicked everybody out. So do not argue your point with the investor. Like I just said before, don't feel that they don't understand you. So no need to stress yourself, okay? Avoid sentences like I said before. You know, when you say something and you don't say like I said before, it means you're stressing. Avoid such sentences. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of this course on what you need to do to prepare to meet investors. And in the next course, we're going to look at the actual content of each slide. All right, I will explain the actual content. Like I said, I will attach the slides to the bottom of this video and even in the next one. Sample slides, the ones that have been used by companies like Uber, Facebook. You know, how is Facebook different from Uber? You will see it. Oh, okay. What do you do, or how do you present your slide if you are still at the idea stage? If your product has not made profit, if you don't have a revenue model yet, the first 2 to 4 years that Facebook ran, they didn't have a way to make money. It was never in their plan. It was when they employed Sheryl Sandberg in 2008 that the woman decided to fashion a way for them to start making money. And today, Facebook is making billions of dollars from her method. Okay, but they got investment. They got almost $5 to $10 billion investment before making the first profit. But all that boiled down to the way they prepared their PowerPoint. I'm going to show you the original Facebook PowerPoint. So the link to the next course is below. Make sure you take it and download all the resources, structure, get the PowerPoint, edit them and put your own business numbers, and get the list of investors and start talking with them. Okay? All right. In the future, I will add list of contacts of investors. We're already compiling them. Investors in Europe, Asia, and US. Okay, so that those of you abroad will have investors that can invest in your business right where you are. Okay, and the investors that have invested in similar businesses closest to you. All right, guys. See you in the next course. Check below this video for links. Facebook people. How is it going on Facebook? Oh, how are you guys doing over there? I can see. Samuel Asalo says, I need a link. Samuel, is brainterm.org. Okay, let me see a way to drop it on the comments. So check your comments section. Check the comment section. I'm dropping the link. Those of you from Telegram, how are you guys doing? Check the comment section. Dropping the link in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to pull up the link. So the link to this course is 30, about to be pasted now. Okay. So I'm going to pin it. So Samuel, you can see it now. Okay, so if you want to join this course after this class and get all those resources I'm talking about, that's the link. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead with the rest of the PowerPoint slides. Hold on a second, I have to title this video. I have to title this video. Drop questions, drop questions. Okay. So here I'm going to drop a lot of key ingredients and resources. Okay, don't go anywhere. Yes, Vincent asks, what if the investors want you to restate your question? Yes, if they want you to restate your question, you restate it. Okay. Then sometimes you just allow them to finish answering the question before you, if there's something they got so wrong, all right? For instance, if your growth stage is 20% extra users per month, all right? Every month you are getting 20% extra users, and the investor is saying 2% extra users per month is too small. Why would you, that this is not the kind of business I invest in? You're not serious, you know? You allow them to finish, or you can just cut in. You can say, I'm sorry, but I said 20%, not 2. You get what I'm saying? You just corrected them on something. It's different from arguing. When they say, let's say the investor is actually correct and saying 20% is not good, I expect 60%, and you tell them, no, 20% is actually good. We do this, we do that, we do, you know? You don't want to, once that debate is on, you are not getting that investment because other investors are watching. It means that if they find a solution, a problem where they are right and you are wrong, you will never correct yourself. So basically, investors want a coachable person because they have access to more business resources than you. You might know your product well, but the business aspect is why you need them. Okay? Remember, it's their money that they want to put in. So people that want to put their money, they're always very skeptical. They are very skeptical. Okay? So just know that untrustworthiness is going to be there on their part. They are being cautious. So expect some challenges, some tackle. They will tackle you, you know. Expect that. And just know that it's not the first investor you reach out to that will succeed. You'll be lucky if the first guy succeeds. What will happen is that after the first guy, you learn some things. Okay? You get back to your slide, adjust your slide. You know, that place that they tackled you most, you adjust and answer the questions there. Reach out to the second person. And then there is a company called SlideBean. They say that they reached out to 134 investors before they got investment. One of the biggest tech companies in Nigeria called Flutterwave. The owner was tweeting the other day that he actually reached out to 200 investors. If I can remember the number clearly, I think it's 200 I said, 200. Now he said at a point, he now switched to, instead of looking for the big money, he was looking for big money. He started collecting small money. If you have $10,000, you say, okay, bring your $10,000, take 1% of the company. You get what I'm saying? If you come up with instead of looking for somebody that will give him $100,000 for 10%, let's say he has valued his company at $1 million. Instead of looking for somebody that will give him something sizable, $100,000 for 10% or whatever, if you have 1%, bring it. If you can buy 2%, bring it. You know, if you can buy 50%, fine. Something like that till he got to the point he wanted. But one of the big investments he got was like $10 million, if I remember clearly that time. So in your own part, you know, these things could be different. What you see on Shark Tank and all those dragons then is that 1 or 2 persons are just, what do you call it? 1 or 2 persons invest and take 10% or 15%. But this guy was saying that he was able to get from so many different people. You know, this business is one of the biggest in Africa now. So don't be afraid to offer 1%. You know, because when I saw the other day, the guy was offering that they should give him $2 million for 2%. That means he valued his business at $100 million. Now, if you're wondering about what this valuation means, how do you know how much to value your business? I've already done a course on it. You can get to my platform and get the course. I think it's titled Entrepreneurship 10-Day Startup Launch Blueprint. So this is the cocoa. This is the university you need to attend on how to raise funds for your business. You understand? That is it. I'm posting it in the chat now. Entrepreneurship 10-Day Startup Blueprint. That's the university. All the professors in the world will not teach you that. All the professors in the world will not teach you that. Let me type it. Entrepreneurship 10-Day Startup. Now, if you're watching this, click the like button, right? Those of you on YouTube, click that like button. I can see how many people watching versus how many like buttons there. Click it. So in this 10-Day Startup Blueprint, I talked about specifically how to value your startup. How much is your startup worth? When it's still an idea, how much is it worth? When you get the first investment, how to know how much it is worth? How much should you raise next? I talked about those numbers, how to calculate them. All right. It's a pretty simple calculation, just one or two formulas. Simple. But at the end of the day, you can't ask money from investors without knowing that, because that's one of the first basic questions they're going to ask you. Okay, so I've dropped the link. I'm getting ready to kick off the next course, so just get ready. So here's the thing, right? If you're watching from YouTube, I want to restart this live video so that this video will be different from the next video, will be different from this one. I don't want to do it once. This one is already 1 hour 17 minutes long. Okay, so the next one is what to actually put in each slide and what not to put. There are some things you naturally want to put in a slide that is just a total error. Okay, and then links to sample slides like that, I'll put it there. So, but I want it to be different from this video. So I'm ending this video now. Just hang around. In the next 2 to 3 minutes, the next video will be up. I'll also post it on Telegram group if you're on our Telegram. So if you want to get the alerts in the next 1 or 2 minutes, please join this Telegram group I am sending now. Okay, join our Telegram group and make sure that you will get an alert once we go live again. Okay, let me just get on to the next video. Don't go anywhere. That one is going to be power packed. All right. Thank you very much. See you.